वालेकुम सर। सर माइक म्यूट है, उसको अनम्यूट कीजिए।
Is it unmute now? I think it's unmute now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, welcome you all, all the students and the learners to this the course that is History of Arabic Literature. This is the fifth online interactive lecture. The lecture would be around the questions, the discussions, or the questions, anything like that. Will be about things we have learned either in the past lectures, or what we were supposed to know regarding the the fifth lectures of the fifth week. Lectures of the fifth week, as it may be recollected, were related to the different aspects of Arabic language and literature of the Ottoman times, Ottoman period. So, to have a recap of things, I think I'll be showing you the slide in a summary mode, of course, just having glimpse of the topics we have gone through. So I'll be sharing the slides first. Is it visible to all of you? The full slide?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Is it
Visible.
visible to all? That's good. That's good. So there are different lectures related to different aspects of the Ottoman literature or Arabic literature in the Ottoman era, Ottoman period. When we talk about the Ottomans, we have to have in our mind the geographical map, the approximate geographical map of the lands, of the areas, the geographical areas, which are usually referred to when we talk about the Ottoman period. So, Ottoman period has been one of the largest, most significant periods in history of East or history of the world altogether. So, starting from 1299 up to the modern times, you can say, or the beginning of the modern times, the First World War, 1922. So, this is the time span of the Ottoman Empire. And as it is obvious, it encompasses a huge uh, uh, temporal, the span of time, as well as the geographical landscapes, the geography. So, as it is visible to you all of Algeria, all of Tunisia in modern times, some segments of Morocco, Libya, and all of, say, that is Egypt, Arabian Peninsula, alongside certain aspects of the entire geographical landscape we are having in the modern day Turkey, Anatolia region. So, what could be summarized in this perspective is that the Ottomans had ruled over three significant sections of significant chunk of three continents: Asia, Africa, as well as Europe. So they had an empire that had ruled over a very large, very significant chunk of geography, extended to three continents: Asia, Africa, and Europe. Well, the in terms of the declining, this is the map, the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire. The dissolution started with the emergence of the modern world, and the emergence of modern world is to be seen in the backdrop of the First World War. So uh, this actually shows us different aspects of uh, the dissolution or the declining, which is associated with the Ottomans. Ottomans, there were so many emperors of the Ottoman period. So these are some of the pictures of these. So now something that is very significant, which is to be kept in mind, that when we talk about the Arabic language and literature or history of Arabic language and literature during the Ottoman period, the primary thing we are concerned with, alongside the something like a brief of their history and geography, is that the focus is on the Mamluks. Why? Because the actually it was the Mamluk period, the Mamluk territory, the Mamluk geographical region within the ambit of Ottoman Empire that is considered more relevant to the history of Arabic language and literature. This is because the Ottomans, as it is, they were the Turks, they were the Turkic peoples. They had their own language, their own culture. So Arabic was not their mother tongue. It was not the first language of the Ottomans. It was the second language. Just it happens for us, the Indians, for the Muslims of India, for example. Their first language, maybe it is Urdu or it is Hindi or something like that, or the other, the Kashmiri and the Bengali. But Arabic is the second language. It's the language of our choice, academic choice, we can say, alongside the language of the religion, uh, the canonical, the canonics, language of the canonics, the primary canonics, Quran and Hadith. So Ottomans were not the Arabs. And the wide gamut of the areas, geographical expansion that is associated with the Ottomans, again, it is something very huge. And all the significant thing is that what draws our attention is that all the areas, geographical areas associated with the Ottomans, they were not reflective of the Arabic language and Arabic culture. So they were extended, the Ottomans were extended, their role was extended to certain chunk of what we say in the European lands. The Turkic peoples, the Turkic areas in sometimes in Central Asia, in the regions adjoining Central Asia, or so of course these peoples had their own language, their own. They happen to be Muslims. Majority of them happen to be Muslims. Unlike the things that we have in Balkans or in Eastern Europe, or the expansion of the Ottoman Empire in these areas. So the actual geographical area, coupled with the time frame that is directly related to the Arabic language and literature within the ambit of Ottoman period, is that which is related to associated with the Mamluks. This again is starting from 1250 to 1517, uh, because the Mamluks are divided into two dynasties. The first is the Bahri dynasty, the Bahri period, were of a Turkic origin, starting from 1250 and ending at 1382. And the second is the Burji period, which is also known as the out that with the decay of the Abbasids in Baghdad, or the fall of Baghdad, the symbolic, the caliph, the Abbasid caliph, who was devoid of any political authority at that time, it was conferred some symbolic authority. So the Sultan was nominal under the Abbasid Caliphate. Well, there are so many things related to the history, the political history of the Mamluks. You can have it all started with Shajrat Dur the first on 1250, who was the widow of Al Malik As Saleh, the Ayyubite of Egypt from 1240 to 1249, and then Aybak, then Baybars, then Tuman Bey, among many others. Among the things we have is still in modern times, reviving something that still remains from the legacy of the Mamluks. We have the citadel of Qaitbay in Alexandria, which was completed in 14th century. Uh, this is the painting of the of Mamluk Sultan Qaitbay, and this is the citadel which is in Alexandria. Of course, then there was the Ottoman Mamluk War, 1516 to 1517, during which Egypt was transformed into wilaya. It may be recollected that it may be kept in mind that in Arabic we are having several terms giving the meaning of a wilaya. One is wilaya, al-wilaya. Another is iala, al-iala. They both the words stand for the same meaning. So that was something related to the history of that. Well, then when there was the sack of Baghdad in the aftermath of the Mongol carnage in 1258, there was the end of the caliphate, and that was an end to the golden age of the Arab culture. So here, of course, the political centers shifted to Cairo and Damascus in replacing Baghdad. So here we'll be having a new trajectory. So first, the trajectory with the beginning of Islam, with the advent of Islam, was Mecca to Medina to Damascus, then Baghdad. Now it was Cairo. At the fifth stage, we have Cairo. So and of course the Mamluk era, which is divided into the two phases, and Bahrain. Well, there are certain characteristics related to the Mamluks or the Mongols or the Ottomans. After the Mongol invasion, Egypt represented their prominent status in Arabic literature, becoming centers of knowledge filled with libraries, mosques, and schools. And it is a law of something like it's social law of nature that the scholars flock to the areas which are known for scholarship, the centers of learning. So here, the primary center of learning after the fall of Baghdad was Cairo. So Arabic was the language of administration, religion, science, and high culture in a multi-ethnic empire. So it was multi-ethnic empire, as we know. The empire of the Ottomans, the Ottoman Empire, it was a multi-ethnic. There were the Arabs with all the ethnicities. There were the Berbers, of course, the population that we have or the Ottomans had at the time in and around that is African coast, African Iberian coast. They were the Berber peoples or the Roman of a Roman lineage sometimes, because Berbers are again divided into two segments. One segment is that of the Roman Berber, and another is that of the uh, that is Arab Berber. So you have the Arabs, you have the Berber, and you have the Persians, you have the Turkic peoples, you have the Romans, you have the Greeks. So all these were different ethnicities. So it was, of course, a phase of consolidation, preservation, and regionalization, as these things characterize the very nature of the Ottoman Empire. Culture of encyclopedic knowledge and systematization. When it comes to, as it will be saying that afterwards, when it comes to the Ottoman period, usually it is thought, it is conceived in the backdrop of the language of the original language of the Ottomans, which was, of course, not Arabic. That Arabic happened to be the secondary language. So, when it comes to the literary virtuosity, the literary merit, the literary taste, it has been widely believed by the masses, by the scholars, that we actually have our virtuosity, full grasp, or full knowledge, or we are better comfortable in our mother tongue. So of course we can express our ideas, we can use any language as the medium of expression, reading or writing and all that. But when it comes to the literary virtuosity, the literary merit, so it's all about the first language. So it was not the first language, it was the second language. So here what happens is that the shift is this sort of paradigm shift. Here the focus is on the authorship, which might be of not a direct linkage with the literary merits, like here we'll be having the encyclopedic knowledge, etc. That's why during the Ottoman period, as well as and of course the Mamluk times and Mamluk periods, we'll be having that the primary focus, the major contribution, or the most one of the most significant contribution that has been preserved is that legacy is the legacy related to the encyclopedic literature. So encyclopedic was there, and of course there were the continuity of the classics and all that. Just a minute. Just a minute. Well, coming back again. So it was am I audible to all of you? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here we'll be having a shift, a paradigm shift from the original Arabic poetry. Of course, the poetry was there in all the dominant genres we'll be having, like Madih and Ghazal and Fakhr and Hija and Risa and Az-Zuhd wal Hikmah, alongside certain specific things like Hashishiyat and Sharul Al-Ghaz wal Ahaji and Sharul Khubs or Sharul Fakhr or Sharul Fuqaha wa Shar Al-Hindisi. So, of course, the traditional genre for Madih and Hija and all that, along these things we'll be having. Of course, the Khamriyat was already there during the Abbasid times, but here we'll be having the Hashishiyat because of the nature of the society, alongside the riddles poetry, which is known as Shirul Al-Ghaz wal Ahaji, and poetry of the bread, or Shirul Khubz or Shirul Faqr, that is the poetry depicting poverty, alongside the humorist poetry, the humor poetry, Shirul Fuqaha, alongside the calligrams. So that's the Asharul Handisi. Asharul Handisi actually depicts poetry. It is something like a visual poetry, which is represented by the European genre of a calligram. In the domain of prose, we have the anthologies and the commentaries, Ashuruh wal Hawashi wal Ma'ajim, where we find that the scholars had worked to summarize, systematize, and preserve the vast classical heritage. The historiography and biographical dictionaries, history, historiography, and biographical literature was a hallmark of the 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 books which have been written related to philology and so the prominent figures will be having in the domain of poetry is Safiuddin al-Hilli, Ibn Nabata al-Misri, Bahauddin Zuhair, alongside their some details related to their biography, their lives. Al-Busiri was a very prominent figure who happened to be between 1212 to 1294. He's better known for his very celebrated poem that is Qasidatul Burda, Qasidatul Burda, or the poem of the mantle, in praise of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is, of course, one of the most popular Islamic poems of the genre throughout history. So, Al-Busiri, Ibn Nabata al-Masri, who died in the year 1366. Then Ibn al-Wardi, of course, known for poetry that provided social, political, and administrative critique. Then many, among many others, will be having. So Ibn Nabata is also known for his book that is Sarh al-Uyun fi Sharh Risalat Ibn Zaydun, alongside another book that is Taltif al-Mizaj fi Shi'r Ibn al-Hajjaj, and another book that is Matla' al-Fara'id wa Siyaru Duwal al-Muluk, etc. Safiuddin al-Hilli was a very noted uh, poet. He's having the Diwan, the anthology, alongside another that is Al-Atil al-Hali, which is a tract in زجل and الموالي، رسالة في الزجل والموالي، والأغلاطي معجم للأغلاط اللغوية، ودرر النحور etc. صفوة الشعراء وخلاصة البلاغة alongside الخدمة الجليلة ورسالة في وصف الصيد بالبندق among others will be having. So this time was known for some embellishment in the domain of poetry. There were many forms of embellishment, like the Ashar al-Handasi, of course, alongside different sanaya or sana'at or arts. So here we'll be having the sana'at mu'jama, alongside As-Sana'a al-Muhmala. Al-Sana'a al-Muhmala is the art in which not a single letter is used, which is dotted. So all the letters are undotted. But contrary to Sana'a al-Mu'jama or al-Mu'ajjama, which of course denotes the Sana'a art using all the dotted letters. So this is the example of Sana'a al-Mu'ajjama. فطنت بضبي بغى خيبتي بجفن تفنن في فتنتي. So here it is. It can be noticed that each and every letter here is dotted. Just contrary to this poem that is سدد سهما ما عدا روعه وروع العصمة وللأسد صاد أمالك الأمر أرح هالكا مدرعا للهم درع السواد, etc. So this reflects another Sana'a, which is known as Sana'a al-Atila or Sana'a al-Muhmala. Alongside another Sana'a, which is known as Sana'a al-Musaghara, where every word that is used is musaghar, like nuqaytun min musaykin fi wuraydin خويلك أو وصيم في خديدي. So it is Nuqayt and Musayk and Uraid and Huwail and Wusaim and Khudayd. So here every word happens to be, of course, Musaghar, of course, with the exception of what is known as that is Huruf Jarra, etc. Another figure we'll be having is Muhammad Imad ibn Ali ibn Abdullah al-Tilmisani. He was a noted poem. Taqiyuddin ibn Hajjah al-Hamawi. He is known for a large number of books like خزانة الأدب وغاية الأرب بلوغ الأمل في فن الزجل ثمرات الأوراق كشف اللثام عن التورية والاستخدام شرح لامية العجم بلوغ المرام من سيرة ابن هشام بلوغ المراد من الحيوان والنبات تأهيل الغريب and الكلب الأمين. حذاء التموري by Ibn Hajjah al-Hamawi is something like a story which has been written. So this حذاء التموري by Ibn Hajjah al-Hamawi presents itself as a link between as a link among the links, or we can say among the links that we have between the modern fiction and the traditional art of fiction in the history of Islam, or the storytelling in the history of Islam. So we have the legacy of the stories, the legends in the history of Islam, in history of Arabia, Arabic, like in Arab history or Islamic history, whether it is Arabian Nights, Alf Layla wa Layla, or the translated legacy like Panchatantra, which has been translated into Arabic as Kalila wa Dimna, alongside the Qisasul Anbiya wa Salihin. So these were the first things, coupled with the Adab al-Maqamat that we have, Maqamat Badi'uzzamad al-Hamadani and Abul Qasim al-Hariri and others. So that was there. But and of course then you have the Hadith Isa ibn Hisham, and then Zainab, and after that we have the modern scenario of a fiction, of Arabic fiction. But in between there were some examples. So Ibn Hajjah al-Hamawi's Hida al-Tamburi also is significant in this sequence. Ibn al-Mawsili was another prominent figure, noted for a large number of books written by him, like غاية الإحسان في آية إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان بهجة المجالس ورونق المجالس بهجة المجالس ورونق المجالس الدر المنتظم نظم فيه فقه اللغة للثعلبي لوامع الأنوار في نظم غريب الموطأ ومسلم لابن قرقول نظم المنهاج للنووي حسن السلوك للحافظ دولة الملوك الحافظ دولة الملوك مختصر الصواعق المرسلة على الجهمية والمعطلة alongside many other books in prose and poetry. Sadruddin ibn al-Wakil is also another name, noted especially for his book that is الأشباه والنظائر. التلعفري شهاب الدين, he was an Egyptian. He was an Egyptian poet. He's better known for his Diwan, which was published in Damascus. Abu al-Hussein ibn al-Jar, he's the very prominent name in the domain of humor poetry. Humor poetry. So when it comes to the humor, then of course we will be having several names during the Ottoman period. So here it is Abu Hussein ibn al-Jazzar, and we'll be having different examples where he had composed many poems on the pattern of the classical poems, classical poetry of pre-Islamic era. Like composing poems on the pattern of sometimes disseminating certain aspects of certain segments of the earlier poems, as we are having this قِفَ نَبْكِ مِنْ ذِكْرَى قَمِيصٍ وَسِرْوَالٍ. So قِفَ نَبْكِ مِنْ ذِكْرَى حَبِيبٍ وَمَنْزِلٍ, it was composed by of course the pre-Islam the poet, the pre-Islamic poet, having Imrul Qais. So here he's having something like قِفَ نَبْكِ مِنْ ذِكْرَى قَمِيصٍ وَسِرْوَالٍ. So it is one of the humor poetry. We'll be having many others like Ibn Sudun, Ali ibn Sudun al-Jarkasi, Ali Baghawi al-Qahiri, better known for a number of books like Nuzhat al-Nufus or Muzhik al-Abus, alongside Kitab Qurrat al-Nadir wa Nuzhat al-Khatir and Maqamat. Ibn Sudun's, we are having several examples by Ibn Sudun: Al-Ardu Ardun wa Sama'u Sama'u wal Ma'u Ma'un wal Hawa'u Hawa'u والنور نور والظلام عماء والحر ضد البرد قول صادق والصيف صيف والشتاء شتاء كل الرجال على العموم مذكر أما النساء فكلهن نساء. This is one of the examples. Of course, when we consider these examples and penetrate deeper into their meanings, layers of their meanings, we find the meaningfulness of the humor, the actual message which is conveyed to the author, to the reader, to the masses through such a humoristic lines. Abul Mukhaffaf was another poet. The Hashishiyat, or the poetry related to hashish, it was composed by a generation, by a large number of poets. So here we're having different examples like the Damascus poet Muhammad ibn Ali ibn al-Ama, who prefers hashish on wine and composes poetry. These are different examples. Ahmed ibn Muhammad ibn Rassam was also another poet. Among the others, we have Ibn al-Nuhas al-Halabi, Amir Manjak, Ibn Muhammad al-Yusufi, Ibn al-Naqib al-Husayni, Ibn Ma'atuq, Abdul Ghani al-Nabulusi, Aisha Ba'uniya, and others. This period is known for different types of prose. In the prose, we'll be having al-Mawa'iz wal-i'tibar بذكر الخطة والآثار, السلوك لمعرفة الدول الملوك، إغاثة الأمة بكشف الغمة، نهاية العرب في معرفة أنساب العرب، سبل العاشة، نهاية العرب في فنون الأدب، تفسير القرآن الكريم of Ibn Kathir, البداية والنهاية also by him, and of course Ibn Khallikan giving us the monumental books such as أوفيات الأعيان وأنباء أبناء الزمان, and جلال الدين السيد الإتقان في علوم القرآن، المزهر في علوم اللغة، حسن المحاضرة في تاريخ مصر أو ملوك مصر والقاهرة, and many others. In the domain of lexicography or al-Mu'jamiyya, we'll be having different stalwart, different scholars. Like the most significant scholar was Ibn Manzur in his Lisan al-Arab. Shihabuddin al-Nuwairi was one of the very significant names. So the literature of al-Amali was also prominent in this period. This period was also known for many books written in the domain of geography. And when it comes to geography, we'll be having the geographical maps. So the geographical maps were there. So this is in the map 1728 map of the Indian Ocean and the Chinese Sea by Ibrahim Mutafarriqa, one of a series that illustrated the Khatib Chelbi's universal geography, the first printed atlas in the Islamic world. So this is in this sequence. This is significant. Ibn Kamal Pasha, with many of his books like طبقات الفقهاء, طبقات المجتهدين, مجموعة رسائل, رسالة في الكلمات العربية, رسالة في الجبر والقدر, إيضاح الإصلاح, etc. Alongside Yusuf al-Zulaykha and the translation of النجوم الزاهرة في ملوك مصر والقاهرة, translated into Turkish. These are different contributions associated with to which Ibn Kamal Pasha is associated. Al-Qirmani, Ahmad ibn Yusuf ibn Sinan al-Dimashq al-Ma'ruf bil-Qirmani, was also was a noted historian. الروض النسيم والدر اليتيم في مناقب السلطان إبراهيم. أخبار الدول وآثار الأول في التاريخ is again a very significant work. Ibn Zambal is also known for his different works. Al-Janabi, Mustafa ibn Hassan, his Tarikh al
Sir, you are not audible.
Welcome back. I don't know how it happened, although my system didn't know that I had the exit. It didn't show this. Well, anyone asking any question? طيب، كما عرفنا سنتحدث قليلا بالعربية. كما عرفنا أننا عندما نتحدث عن العصر العثماني، ففي سياق تاريخ الأدب العربي، في سياق اللغة العربية وآدابها، لا نتحدث عن العصر العثماني إلا في سياق خاص، إلا في فترة زمنية خاصة وفترة مكانية جغرافية مكانية. يعني هناك تحديد زماني وتحديد جغرافي للسياق الذي يرتبط بتاريخ آداب اللغة العربية، وهو أننا عندما نتحدث عن الأدب العثماني إنما لا نتحدث عن الأدب العثماني، عن العصر العثماني بوجه من، وإنما بوجه خاص. والوجه الخاص يرتبط بالعصر المملوكي في فترتين، فترة البحريين وفترة البرجيين. لماذا؟ لأن هذه الفترة هي التي ترتبط ببلاد الشام، بمصر وبلاد الشام. كما عرفنا أن اللغة العربية لم تكن هي اللغة الأم أو اللغة الأولى للعثمانيين، وإنما كانت لغة ثانية بالنسبة لهم. فالتركيز في هذا السياق إنما يكون على بقعة جغرافية خاصة، منطقة جغرافية خاصة. يعني هناك تحديد جغرافي وتحديد زماني، هناك تحديد زماني وتحديد جغرافي أو مكاني للفترة التي يرتبط بتاريخ آداب اللغة العربية في سياق التاريخ. فما يتبادر إلى أذهاننا في هذا السياق هو وما ذكره المؤرخون بوجه عام في سياق الأدب العربية في أيام العثمانيين، أنهم يولون الاهتمام لما كان في العصر المملوكي، وليس بوجه عام حيث أنه يشمل كل الفترات التي ترتبط بالحكم العثماني. لأن هناك العديد من هناك العديد من الجهات التاريخية التي كانت مرتبطة بالعثمانيين، وهي لم تكن عربية، إنما كانت هي أعجمية. مثل ما نجد يعني في جغرافيا، فالمناطق الجغرافية التي نجدها في المناطق التركية الآن، أو في آسيا المركزية، آسيا الوسطى، آه، أذربيجان وأرمينيا وتركمانستان وكازاخستان وغيرها. فطبعا يعني إن كل هؤلاء هم يمثلون الأتراك the Turkic peoples، ولكن لغتهم كانت غير العربية، ثقافتهم هي، وديانتهم الإسلام كان ديانتهم في غالب الأحيان. وفي سياق الفقه كانوا كانوا ينتمون إلى المذهب السني، فالأتراك السنة في الغالب، بينما وليسوا من الشيعة إلا بعض الشرائح منهم. ففي هذا السياق يعني هذه المزايا المرتبطة بالجغرافيا، بالفصائل الجغرافية، بالجاليات، الأجناس، يعني الشعوب وغيرها، هي كلها لم تكن عربية، بل بعضها كانت عربية. فهذه الفئة المرتبطة ببلاد الشام ومصر هي المهمة في سياق تاريخ آداب اللغة العربية، سياق اللغة العربية وآدابها. مرحبا بكم من جديد. إذا يعني هذا هو الأصل في يعني تحديد الكلام وتحديد التاريخ في سياق تاريخ آداب اللغة العربية في منطقة خاصة أو في زمن خاص، زمن البحريين والبرجيين. ثم إن البحريين والبرجيين وغير ذلك طبعا في الفترات المختلفة أسهموا في إسراء اللغة العربية وآدابها. ولكن هذا العصر يعني عصر العثمانيين عادة ما يعتبر يعني ليس في سياق الإيجاب، وإن في سياق السلب فيما يخص القيم الفنية للغة وللأدب. فبتعبير آخر اللغة كانت ضعيفة والأدب كان ضعيفا، الشعر كان ضعيفا، ولكن كانت هناك العديد من أوجه التجديد، بعضها كانت مرتبطة بالمناحي الفنية. فهناك المناحي الفنية المرتبطة بالتجديد مثلا القريز الشعري المرتبط ب ب آه، ببعض الأنماط الشعرية، مثل الشعر الهندسي، الشعر الحشيش، في سياق الموضوعات، يعني في سياق الفن هناك الشعر الهندسي، آه، بالإضافة إلى الأشياء التي رأيناها قبل ذلك، مثلا الموشحات والأشجال والمخمسات والمسدسات والرباعيات وغيرها والملمعات. طبعا فكانت هناك هذه الأنواع، الشعر الهندسي خاصة، يعني. ولكن كانت هناك تجديدات، أوجه من التجديد في سياق المعنى، يعني القصائد في سياق المحتوى، في سياق المضمون، القصائد في سياق المضمون. فهناك قصائد في سياق المضمون، مضامين جديدة. المضمون الجديد، مضمون بمعنى content، مثلا الفقر، هذا هو المسمى بشعر الخبز وشعر الحشيش أيضا. شعر الحشيش لأن الحشيش أصبح يعني ما كان 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 يتعاطاه المجتمع، كان يتعاطاه الناس آنذاك في سياق المخدرات. فقديما كان هناك شعر الخمر أو الخمريات، والآن أصبح هناك الحشيشيات. ثم هناك شعر الفكاهة، شعر الفكاهة وغير ذلك، فشعر الحشيش وشعر الفكاهة و يعني شعر الفقر، شعر الفقر، بالإضافة إلى أوجه من الصنايع اللفظية والمعنوية في الشعر، مثلا الشعر الذي يستخدم أو يوثر فن المصغرات، صناعة المصغرات، وكذلك صناعة المهملة وصناعة غير المهملة أو المنقوطة، الصنعة المنقوطة والصنعة المهملة وغير ذلك. نعم. فمن هنا كانت هناك هذه الأفانين في سياق الشعر. الأفانين في سياق الشعر كان هكذا. فنجد أنهم عندما افتقدوا الأصالة اللغوية، فإنهم أرادوا أن يتعوضوا عن هذا بصنايع. ف حيث يظهر حيث يظهر في عملهم، أو يتراءى من أعمالهم أنها تحمل قيما جمالية آه، كبيرة، أو أن لها أهمية جمالية كبيرة. فهذا كان في الحقل الشعري، بالإضافة إلى العديد من القريز فيما يخص، إلى الكم الهائل من القريز فيما يخص المدائح النبوية. فقصيدة البردة للبوصيري وغيرها من أهم القصائد، من أهم التراث الشعري، من أهم أجزاء التراث الشعري الذي نجده من هذا العصر. فبالإضافة إلى ذلك نجد هناك كمية كبيرة من النثر التاريخي، النثر الجغرافي، النثر الأدبي، النثر الأدبي، النثر العلمي، النثر الهندسي، النثر فيما نطلق عليه الآن كلمة التكنولوجيا، كلمة التكنولوجيا. ابن الرماح، خاصة أعمال ابن الرماح وغيرها فيما يرتبط بالصناعة، وأعمال زرتكاش فيما يخص بالصناعة الحربية. فهناك صناعة الحربية في هذا في هذا العصر. وهناك الكتب التي تؤرخ لهذه الصناعة، التي تمثل هذه الصناعة، هذه العلوم لأول مرة في تاريخ العربية. الكتب الحربية والفروسية، الكتب الحربية أو كتب الحرب والفروسية وآداب القتال، يعني هذه المصطلحات التي نجدها في هذا العصر، إن هذه هي الكتب التي نجدها في هذا العصر، بالإضافة إلى الموسوعات والمجاميع العلمية، أو التاريخ العلمي، أو التاريخ العلمي للعربية. فقديما رأينا مثلا ابن النديم في كتاب الفهرست، ولكن في هذا العصر نجد هناك كبار المؤرخين الذين ألفوا كتبا في تاريخ العلوم العربية والإسلامية، وفي مقدمتهم هذا العالم الجديد الجليل الذي أعطانا كذا هذا الكتاب، كتاب كشف عن أسامي الكتب والفنون، ولا كاتب جلبي. فهذا الكتاب هام جدا، ونحن نعرف أن هذا الكتاب لعب دورا هاما فيما يخص تاريخ العلوم والفنون، أو تاريخ الكتب التي ألفت في سياق العلوم والفنون، إما في الشرق أو في الغرب. ف يعني في هذا السياق نجد أن الأعمال كبيرة، أن الأعمال جليلة في سياق الموسوعات والمجامع، يعني تاريخ العلوم والفنون، بالإضافة إلى ما نسميه الموسوعات والمجامع، الموسوعات والمجامع العلمية. نعم، هناك فرق واضح بين الكتاب وبين الموسوعة كما نعرف. فالكتاب ما يؤلفه الناس في موضوع ما، في موضوع خاص. نعم، وهذا الموضوع إنما يكون وفق العلوم والفنون، وفق العلوم والفنون. مثلا كتاب في التاريخ، في تاريخ الأمويين، كتاب في تاريخ العباسيين، أو كتاب في تاريخ المغول، أو كتاب عن سلطان خاص، عن الأمراء، عن الحكام، عن السلاطين، أو عن الحالة الاجتماعية، التاريخ الاجتماعي لملة، لعصر، لمنطقة مثلا. فهذا هو. ولكننا نجد أن هناك بعض الكتب التي تؤرخ، التي تعالج موضوعات جمة، يعني العلوم في تاريخ الإسلام، كتاب يعالج العلوم، يغطي العلوم في تاريخ الإسلام. يعني معنى ذلك أن هناك آلاف من الكتب، هناك آلاف من الشخصيات، مئات من الشخصيات والكتب التي 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 ترتبط بفترات معينة، بسلسلة من التواريخ، بفترات معينة. يعني مثلا العصر الإسلامي الأول والثاني، ثم العصر العباسي، ثم العثماني، ثم الأندلسي، ثم الحديث مثلا. نعم، فنجد هناك مئات بل ملايين من الصفحات، مئات في مئات من الكتب، آلاف من الكتب، وآلاف من الشخصيات. نعم، إذا ما ألفنا كتابا أو بعض الصفحات، يعني تصور أننا إذا ما ألفنا 10 صفحات عن شخصية، معنى ذلك أننا نحتاج إلى مجلدات عديدة، إلى عدد كبير من المجلدات. وهذا لا يتسع يعني له الوقت ولا المصادر، لا تتسع المصادر والمرافق، ولا الإمكانيات المادية وغير ذلك. فماذا يفعلون؟ إنهم يعني يقدمون أمامنا نبذة من كل هذه الموضوعات، نبذة بسيطة قليلة من كل هذه الموضوعات. فنجد هناك مثلا يعني فقرة أو فقرتين عن كتاب، عن موضوع، مثل ما تجدون في الموسوعات. وهذا هو يعني هذه هي الطريقة التي تفضل في الموسوعات والمجامع العلمية. خذوا مثلا الموسوعة البريطانية Encyclopedia Britannica، أو الموسوعة الإسلامية مثلا Encyclopedia في الإسلام، تجدون فيها عددا كبيرا من الموضوعات وعددا هائلا من الشخصيات والكتب. فهذا العصر أيضا شهد هذا النوع من الأدب، بالإضافة إلى المعاجم والمعجمية وغيرها. ثم بالنسبة للتاريخ، إن هذا العصر معروف بالتاريخ، وفعلا يعني التاريخ بمعنى التاريخ السياسي، والتاريخ الاقتصادي، التاريخ الاجتماعي، التاريخ العلمي، تاريخ السلاطين، تاريخ الأمراء، تاريخ الوزراء، تاريخ العلماء، طبقات الرجال، رجال الحديث، الفقهاء، القراء، ويعني جملة من الموضوعات التي نجدها في سياق التاريخ. إن هذا العصر، أنا عادة ما أقول أنا أننا إذا ما ألغينا، إذا ما أهملنا هذا التراث الهائل الذي نجده في موضوع التاريخ، هذا التراث الذي نجده في موضوع التاريخ في هذا العصر، في العصر المملوكي والعثماني، في العصر العثماني بوجه عام، فإنه لا يمكننا أن نفهم مختلف أبعاد التاريخ الإسلامي. فهذا هو. If we just ignore the historical literature which has been produced by the Ottoman, by the scholars of the Ottoman period, so we simply cannot understand history. Well, Khadija Omar is asking, what about the examination of these things? I think you should be contacting the scholars like the assistants, my assistants like Amir Hussein and Dar and another research scholar, Hamid, in this regard. Or you can simply contact me about that. I'll be exactly giving you the version, the official version, how what will be the modalities of examinations, if any. So I'll be getting the information and I'll be conveying that to you, inshallah. Any questions, any queries? We must not forget one thing. That is, the Ottoman period was a huge. It was a huge period. So of course, it has the huge legacy. Their political legacy, the political legacy of the Ottomans, it is considerable. The socio-political legacy, the legacy related to civilization, culture, to arts, to crafts, to sciences. Of course, all these perspectives, the legacy of the Ottomans is huge, considerable. But as Arabists, as a historian of Arabic language and literature, we must be focusing on the merits, the characteristics, in some comparative perspectives, because these comparative perspectives actually show to us, make us privy to the actual characteristics, features, the nature, in so much as how in what perspectives Arabic literature of the Umayyads, for example, was different from the Arabic literature of the Abbasids. So likewise, in a continuity, one will be saying that after the Abbasid, we will be having the Ottomans. Primarily, we have the Ottomans. So, what were the lines of demarcation between the Abbasid language and literature compared to the Ottoman Arabic language and literature during the Ottoman period, in society, in culture, in sciences, in poetry, etc.? So we have to take into account all these details. We have to be aware of the names of the books, names of the poets, names of and the different trends, the phases, the movements, and all that, the tendencies. Because all these things together, we'll be finding that all these things just make up the gist of history. So here sometimes, since the very message of or the philosophy of this course is general, is to be acquainted with Arabic language and literature, history of Arabic language and literature in general. So specific details, although they are welcome anytime, anywhere, but in the very context of the generality of Arabic language and literature in this sequence, we have to be more concerned with the general aspects, general tendencies, the salient features, the overall salient features of Arabic language and literature, as in this classification, in this historical classification, or the historical classificatory perspectives.
Assalamualaikum.
It may also be, it may also be recollected that although there's a specific definition of what is known as a Ottoman period or Ottoman Empire, but if you are talking about if you're taking into consideration only the geographical norms or different geographical boundaries, so will you finding that there were specific geographical areas that were part of the Ottoman Empire, like Indian subcontinent or any part of Indian subcontinent has not been part of the Ottoman Empire, unlike certain areas of modern day Persia or modern day Central Asia or modern day Europe or Africa, where we'll be finding that certain areas were part of the Ottoman Empire. Period, Ottoman Empire. But if you're talking about the Ottoman Empire in terms of the days, in terms of the years, in terms of the phase, not the geographical arena, rather in terms of the annals, the years, the era, then you'll be finding some Indian names also happening, in this list. So this is evident in the entries of some historical data. We'll be finding in several books where they have mentioned some Indian names in this sequence. In this sequence, so we'll be finding that up to 1922, uh, from say 12 something like that, post 12 to up to 1922, during these phase we'll be having certain names, prominent names like Muhammad Ala Thanwi, for example, the author of Kashaf Istilahat al-Funun, etc., and among the others, uh, who figure in the list of the persons who had flourished during the Ottoman times or the Ottoman period, or the pre-modern world phase. You can simply put it like that: the pre-modern world phase, or pre First World War phase, because after that, this empire or this phase, the Ottoman phase, was Ottoman era, was simply replaced by the emergence of different states, as we find now in modern day Arabia as well as the Muslim world. Yes, Mr. Amir, कुछ कह रहे थे आप? Arabic played a vital role in the advancement of science during the Umayyad and Abbasid period. Does it maintain the same significance in modern times? Could you flash it once again? जरा ये मैसेज दोबारा दिखाइए ताकि मैं पूरा देख लूं. Yes, there has been a continuity of. If you just look at the advancement of the sciences or the scientific culture in the history of Islam, and of course, we are confining ourselves to Arabic language and literature. So this starts with the Umayyad times. Although during the Umayyad times, the skill was not very significant. There were some translations. Khalid bin Yazid bin Muawiyah especially. He had translated some books in chemistry. It has been mentioned by historians. But the golden period of the scientific culture in Muslim history, in Arabic, of course, here in Muslim history, we must be confining ourselves to Arabic primarily. So we'll be having the books in chemistry, the domains of chemistry and physics and sciences, medicine, botany, geography, etc. Uh, during the Abbasid times. So compared to that, we'll be having between in this trajectory of the scientific thinking and scientific culture, which got extended to the later periods, and here I mean the Ottoman period, the Ottoman period. So the point which is to be kept in mind, which is to be noted, is that the earlier phases of or the pre demise, the pre devastation periods of the Abbasid era, or the literature which was produced before the devastation of Baghdad, uh, under the carnage of by the carnage of the Mongols, in the backdrop of the Mongol carnage. The literature related to the period before that, it was huge. It was huge. So all these names, whether it is Razi or it is Ghazali or it is Ibn Sina or Al-Kindi and different others, Ibn al-Haytham, Al-Khwarizmi, Nasruddin al-Tusi, they belong to that period. So in this sequence, we'll be finding that the majority of the names that have contributed tremendously to the domain of scientific culture, science and technology in the history of Islam, they belong to that period. It was followed by the later periods. Uh, the immediate later periods were marked by the impact of devastation. They had they needed some time in order to have a recovery, to strengthen themselves afresh and embark upon the scientific culture. So here we'll be finding that during the Mamluk period or the later Ottoman period, uh, in the domain of sciences, we see a tremendous development. But this development, I don't think it could be compared with the overall development that we find, or the pace or the magnitude of the development we find during the Abbasid period. So during the Mamluk period or the Ottoman period, although it is quite clear that there were there were specific domains, certain domains in science and technology, represented by Hassan al-Rammah, for example, or Al-Jazri, for example, Hassan al-Rammah especially, and Iran Bagha Zardkash especially, because Al-Jazri belonged to the period before that. So Iran Bagha Zardkash and Hassan al-Rammah, among many others, and their legacy of the scientific writings in the domains of what we can categorize, what could be categorized as the military scholarship, the military literature, or literature related to warfare, for example. Uh, of course, warfare related to usually which are to be seen usually in the Middle Ages parlances, but of course not limited to that in all the cases, because the things that are related to the robotics, for example, or some military hardware, which were subject of deliberation by the scholars like Hassan al-Rammah and Aaron Bagazardkash. Uh, they could be extended to, uh, or at least they could be seen as the link between the ancient world and the modern world. So, with the exception of this, this military scholarship, uh, the overall pace of scientific culture, if you just compare during the Ottoman period, if you compare it with the Abbasid period, we'll be seeing the huge difference between them. So the actual difference that we have, the actual difference that we have, or the modern world has, is related to the modern period when there was interaction between East and West. In the backdrop of the interaction, the scientific interaction between East and West, amid translations, amid interpretations, amid assimilative movements, whether it was Rifa Rafi Tahtawi, and many others. And after that, the emergence of the scientific culture in universities, in modern universities and colleges, that is in modern era, the spirit of knowledge in modern era. So we'll be finding that the actual development, the tremendous development that was after the Abbasid period. So it could be compared a little bit with what we have in the modern period, in the modern times. So, but the things that we have during the Ottoman period, in between, they are in between. يعني إذا هذا التراث الذي نجده لدى العثمانيين هو تراث متوسط، تراث يربط بين تراث العباسيين وتراثنا الحديث، تراث العالم الحديث الحالي في العلوم والفنون. والأسباب كثيرة في هذا السياق. There are different reasons for this. Because in modern times, in modern era, the pace of scientific culture has been immense, and the primary role which has been played in this regard is associated with the establishment of press, with the invention of press, the printed matter. So this actually draws the demarcating line of demarcation between the ancient world and يعني لم تكن هناك الطباعة شيء حديث. فالطباعة في الحقيقة لعبت دورا رئيسيا في هذا المجال. الطباعة هي التي لعبت الدور الرئيسي في هذا المجال. نعم. ولكن في العصر الحالي، في العصر الحديث، هناك الطباعة الإلكترونية. يعني بالإضافة إلى الطباعة الورقية هناك الطباعة الإلكترونية. وفي سياق العالم تحول إلى قرية. Now what we have is that we have the establishment of press, the modern world, and seen development of press, the spirit of press, and then the spirit of knowledge all over the world, and the shrinkage of the entire world into something like a village, that is globalization of cultures, globalization of knowledge. And here, of course, the emergence of electronics has played very significant role. So it was hard printing, then electronic printing, coupled with the electronic printing in modern times. These were different factors that we have. And because of these factors, the modern pace of science, scientific culture, and scientific and technological culture and thinking and contributions, it cannot be compared with the things that we have in past, in the Middle Ages, even if these things were very significant. But it doesn't belittle the significance of the value of the importance of the things related to the Middle Ages. Why? Why? Because when we talk about the sciences, we actually talk about a hierarchy. We talk about a trajectory. It's a line that is drawn from top to the bottom. عندما نتحدث عن العلوم والفنون فإنما نتحدث عن التاريخ. وماذا يعني التاريخ؟ التاريخ في الحقيقة خط زمني وخط مكاني، خط زماني وخط مكاني، هو هذا ما نسميه التاريخ. بالنسبة للأفكار الإنسانية، أفكار الإنسان هي لا تكون وليدة اللحظة الحاضرة. The human thoughts can hardly be product of the actual moment we are living now, the instant moment. No, it's not like that. The human existence is something something that is inherited. We have inherited our existence, our physical existence. We have inherited our physical existence, and also we have inherited our mental legacy, our cognitive legacy, legacy of thoughts, legacy of cultures, legacy of civilizations. مثل ما ورثنا أجسامنا وأجسادنا من آبائنا، كذلك ورثنا علومنا، ورثنا العلوم والأفكار والفنون والثقافات من الأجداد، من التاريخ. Hence, you cannot say that this is the modern idea which has nothing to do with the classical idea. No, it's not like that. Seldom it happens. So, yes, the differences might be in certain areas, in certain aspects like application, but the theoretical aspects, the philosophical aspects, the overall cognitive aspects, projections, perspectives, they are the same. Take the example of philosophy, the philosophical basics of philosophy, philosophical ideas, they are more or less the same. Like the basics of all the sciences, they are more or less the same. So only what we find is that the differences in terms of the parts, in terms of how it is bifurcated, bifurcation of sciences. So this bifurcation of sciences and scientific ideas. So maybe that at the first instance it was a sum total. It combined each and everything. Just take the example of the al-ulum al-handasiyya. How was engineering during the Middle Ages? It was something like polytechnic. It contained each and everything related to the scientific culture, related to inventory, to invention, how to make the things. So, but the things you make, the products, they are of various natures. There are thousands of products. Just take the example of tibb, or the tabib, or the human body. Treating human body. It was something like a unified aspect of this. But how it now it emerged into so many things. It contains so many things. Am I audible to all of you? Okay. आमिर डार साहब कुछ कह रहे थे आप? Well, okay, I'm just concluding it. So in this sequence we can see that يعني كما قلت لكم أن الإنسان في الحقيقة يعني هو متجزئ بذاته، وكذلك الأفكار، العلوم، الثقافات لا تكون متجزئة بذواتها. इंसान हो या इंसान की अफ़कार हों, साइंसी हों, चाहे फ़लसफ़ियाना हों, चाहे अदबियात से मुतल्लिक़ हों, इनको तारीख़ से हम जुदा करके नहीं देख सकते। ये एक कंटिन्यूटी होती है और इसी कंटिन्यूटी के हवाले से चीज़ों को हमें देखना चाहिए। तो यही वजह है कि जो पुराना अदब है हम उसको इग्नोर नहीं करते हैं। आखिर क्या वजह है कि इस्लाम से पहले के अदब को हम पढ़ते हैं? इस्लाम से बहुत पहले क्या था, हम वेद ही की बात नहीं कर रहे। आई एम जस्ट नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द अरबिक लिटरेचर। We still read the classics of the Greek classics, Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, etc. Okay, we still go through the ancient Indian legacy. हिंदुस्तान की जो कदीम मिरास है उसको आज भी हम पढ़ते हैं, अदब से मुतल्लिक, शायरी से मुतल्लिक, फ़लसफ़े से मुतल्लिक, मज़हब। हाँ, चलिए हम मज़हब की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं। तो ऐसा क्या है? ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर ये चीज़ 1000 साल पुरानी है तो उसकी इफ़ादियत ख़त्म हो गई, उसकी मानवियत ख़त्म हो गई। नहीं, ऐसा नहीं। बल्कि हमारा वजूद, हमारे अफ़कार, हमारी शख्सियतें, हमारा तहज़ीबी, तमद्दुनी, इल्मी वजूद, इल्मी पहचान, ये नहीं है कि हम 21वीं सदी में हैं, ये नहीं है। बल्कि हम तारीख़ की इस्तमरारियत का हिस्सा हैं, वी आर पार्ट ऑफ हिस्ट्री। एक कंटिन्यूटी है जो कि शुरू से लेकर अब तक आ रही है। ये हमारी जिस्मानी साख्त में भी है और हमारी अफ़कार की सतह पर भी है। अफ़कार अदब से ताल्लुक़ रखती हों या उलूम व फ़नून से मुतल्लिक़ हों। इसलिए तारीख़ में कोई भी चीज़ आउटडेटेड एज़ सच नहीं होती। कुछ जुज़ियात के हवाले से होती है, होता है। तिब को ले लीजिए, में तिब की मेरे ख़्याल से 100 किस्में तो नहीं होंगी। आजकल आप पूरे मेडिकल कॉलेज में इतनी सारी चीज़ें हैं, सबको आप देख लीजिए, उस आपको हो जाएगा। ओके। तो ये जो तवस्सु होता है, ये जो डाइवर्सिफ़िकेशन होता है, ये शायद नई चीज़ होती है और एप्लीकेशन का जो हिस्सा होता है, ये नया होता है। लेकिन जो असासियात हैं, जो बुनियादें हैं, वो सब अपनी जगह पे बरकरार रहती हैं, वो कंटिन्यूटी में होती हैं। ये बात अदब में भी दुरुस्त है, शायरी में भी दुरुस्त है, साइंस में भी दुरुस्त है और बड़ी हद तक टेक्नोलॉजी में भी दुरुस्त है। जो बुनियादी चीज़ें होती हैं, अब जैसे इब्न अल-जज़री के यहाँ उनकी जो रोबोटिक्स हैं, तो आज आप उनके रोबोटिक्स से आप नए जो रोबोटिक्स हैं, उनसे आप मौज़ना करके देख लीजिए। इब्न अल-हैसम ने जो ऑप्टिक्स के हवाले से जो काम किए हैं, आप एक जस्ट कंपेयर बिटवीन द ऑप्टिक्स ऑफ इब्न अल-हैसम फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल with the optics in modern times. And it is surprising that, even in modern days, uh, in contemporary world, much of the optics and ideas related to the ophthalmology, they are very much related to the inventions of the theories of Ibn al-Haytham. Ibn al-Haytham को आज भी पढ़ाया जाता है मेडिकल कॉलेज में, ऑप्थल्मोलॉजी के हिस्से से आज भी पढ़ाया जाता है। आप खुद देख लीजिए। तो तवस्सु होता है, डेवलपमेंट होता है, लेकिन एक इस्तिमरारियत रहती है और यही शायद जो इंसानी ज़िंदगी है, इंसानी तहज़ीब है, इसकी सबसे बड़ी ख़ुसूसियत है। Well, I think we should be concluding this session. Thank you very much. We'll be meeting next time, inshallah. With this, I'll be dismissing this one. Thank you very much.